Today we're going to look at the story of Jesus healing the Canaanite woman's daughter and how did a Canaanite woman show great faith in Jesus. The first question we're going to look at is how did Jesus respond to the Canaanite woman's request? So we're going to start in Matthew chapter 15 and we are scrolling down to verse 21. It says, leaving that place, Jesus withdrew to the region of Tyre and Sidon. And just looking at the map, so Tyre is up here, so it's a little bit further from where Jesus normally is. We continue on in verse 22. A Canaanite woman from that vicinity, which means she lived around there, came to him, crying out, Lord, Son of David, have mercy on me. My daughter is demon-possessed and suffering terribly. So she is asking for God's mercy right away and saying what the problem is that her daughter is demon-possessed and was suffering and she wanted Jesus to help. And then we see Jesus' response, and we're just going to see at the beginning of verse 23. Jesus did not answer a word. So Jesus kind of gave her the silent treatment, and this wasn't he was just trying to be mean. He was actually testing the woman. Jesus was testing her faith by not answering her prayer right away. So if he would have just given the answer right away, she might have not had that faith, whereas he was kind of testing her, seeing was she going to give up or was she going to keep trying. Looking at the next question, what did the woman do when she was tested? We look at the second half of verse 23. So this is after Jesus not saying a word. His disciples came to him and urged him, send her away, for she keeps crying out after us. So the disciples are saying, hey, Jesus, should we send her away, get her out of the way? She's kind of just keeps crying. And we'll see Jesus answer in verse 24. He answered, I was sent only to the lost sheep of Israel. So Jesus is saying, I want to help the people of Israel. I'm here to help them. In verse 25, we see the woman. She said, the woman came and knelt before him. Lord, help me, she said. He replied, It's not right to take the child's bread and toss it to the dogs. So Jesus is continuing to test her and saying, I shouldn't be helping you. I'm here to help Israel. You wouldn't take, food for a child and give it to the dogs. And we're going to see her answer. She says, Yes, it is, Lord, she said. Even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from their master's table. So she's not asking him for, this huge thing. She's saying, I just want one tiny piece. If you have a dog, you might know that sometimes you might give them a little piece of your food. And that's what she's looking for, just like a tiny piece of Jesus' help. So she was very persistent because the woman trusted Jesus and continued to pray to him. So we see her, she's on her knees begging Jesus for help. The disciples are saying, let's get rid of her, but Jesus is still there. How did Jesus answer her prayer? We see in verse 28. Then Jesus said to her, Woman, you have great faith. Your request is granted. And her daughter was healed. So because she continued to ask Jesus for help, she didn't just give up. She asked for just a small portion of his help. Jesus saw that she had great faith and healed her daughter. We then look at 2 Corinthians 12 verses 8 to 10. It says, 3 times I pleaded with the Lord to take it away from me. But he said to me, My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on me. That is why, for Christ's sake, I delight in weaknesses, in insults, in hardships, in persecutions, in difficulties. For when I am weak, then I am strong. And this passage just is so beneficial in times where you feel like you can't go on. You feel very weak. We know that we've got a very strong, powerful God. And Jesus is there to give his power on our weakest days. Jesus answered the Canaanite's prayer by healing her daughter. Even when tested, the Canaanite woman continued to pray to Jesus and trusted him to heal her daughter. We're going to go on to our worksheet. It is called Happy Endings. It looks just like this. It says, circle the letter of the correct ending for each sentence, then put the letters in order at the bottom of the page. The words will tell you what to do when you pray. So the first one, it says, Jesus went to the region of Caesarea and Philippi. I know I didn't hear about that in this story. Jerusalem and Bethlehem. No. Tyre and Sidon. I know that is a place where he went to, so that was T. And so at the bottom of my sheet then, you're going to put a T right there in the first spot. And then we'll keep going on. It says, a woman came to Jesus from blank. He was in Tyre and Sidon, but she was not from there. She was not from Samaria. That's another story. She wasn't from Judea. She was a Canaanite woman. So then again, it's an R at the beginning. So I know down here I'm going to put in R. Going to continue on. The woman called Jesus Lord and blank. So there's a lot of names. These are all names for Jesus, but she called him the Son of David. So I know that will then be that U. And again, then down here I put a U. The woman's daughter blank. She didn't have leprosy. That's again another story. Was demon possessed or was blind? I know that she was not blind, so that's crossed out, and she was demon possessed. So now I have an S down there. At first, Jesus blank helped the woman, did not answer a word, or touch the daughter. I know that he didn't touch the daughter. That wasn't in the story at all. But I know at first he ignored the woman. He didn't help her, so I know that's a T. So I have now the first word in here. It says, what I learned from this lesson, trust blank blank. What I want you to do is I want you to continue on with these last ones to complete 6 through 10. Make sure that these words make sense. If they don't make sense, then go and double check your answers, and then you are all set for today.